Hi, collective. This is Sean. I'm the Divine Feminine Abolitionist, and we are free. Um, I'm coming back to give more of what I've been getting from my last spread, which I pulled Temple of Carnelian entering the fierce belly of Sekhmet, and I pulled Truth is Revealed, the revelation of Isis. I don't know the last time I said this card. I might have said the revelation of Sekhmet just because Sekhmet was on my mind, but it's actually the revelation of Isis. And I've been getting downloads from this particular card, but I have been told to not share those yet. And then High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. So then revelation of Isis, eyes of Isis, and Temple of Carnelian entering the fierce belly of Sekhmet. I already gave like two particular talks. In this particular card, Sekhmet as Wounded Healer is from the Aola Abrams African Goddess deck. And so is Aseseya and Queen Ya. I'm sorry if you couldn't see it. But anyway, the cards that I'm going to be talking about today, the Temple of Carnelian entering the fierce belly of Sekhmet, is from the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And I will put a link in the description. I'm going to try to remember from where I got these cards. But before I start, I want to share the reading from my daily meditation or part of it. And this is from the Science of Mind. This is a metaphysical magazine that teaches about metaphysics, and if you're into that, you can study it. But anyway, this was like really deep for me. It said, our whole practice is based on the concept that God is where we are and what we are, and that there isn't anything else. Our whole concept is partially based on the theory that whatever happens to be wrong is not wrong in itself, but is the wrong arrangement of what is right. There is no dualism in the universe, as I have always said. There is not God in something else. There is no thing such as good and evil in itself. There is only what is, which automatically and mechanically reports from itself and interprets itself to us the way we look at it. The Anatomy of Healing Prayer. I think Ernest Holmes wrote that. I'm not sure, but I believe it was Ernest Holmes, because Ernest Holmes was one of the founders of metaphysical science or science of mind faith system, which I've studied for a very long time. And the book that I'm reading that supports that particular statement is My Face is Black is True. It is the Cali House and the Struggles for Ex-Slave Reparations story by Mary Frances Berry. And the reason that I feel like I was drawn to that book is about self-advocacy and the energy of Sekhmet is warrior. And I remember talking to Sekhmet, and I don't know what I was watching. I think it was The Matrix, and the one that recently came out, and Morpheus, or young Morpheus, the new Morpheus, not Lawrence Fishburne, but young Morpheus said, if you want to escape the Matrix, if you want to be free from the Matrix, you will have to fight for it. So he the scene. I don't mean to be a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, but if you haven't seen it, then you want to click off now, and then you can come back in a couple of seconds or whatever. But the part of this movie was that he had been in the Matrix, under the blue pill for so many years, 20 years as a matter of fact. And his consciousness and his energy was, matrix oriented, and he was not necessarily operating from the place of warrior. And in order for him to awaken to the warrior, awaken to the ascended master, awaken to Neo, away from who he had been. I can't remember the other name that he had before he was Neo, but anyway, he had to fight. He had to go off to a place, to the original place, where he was with Morpheus, and Morpheus made him fight. And I feel like in every ascension with anybody who is becoming a person who ascends, or a person who is coming into their own self, and you go through the dark night of the soul moment, in order for you to become a warrior, in order for you to come into your calling or come into your destiny, you have to fight to leave the matrix. You have to fight to leave the consciousness. And one of the one of the most profound consciousness of the matrix is fear, false evidence appearing real. And so, in talking with Sekhmet and talking with this energy of the perception of what it means to be woman king, what it means to walk in your divinity, what it means to be divine feminine, and all of the energy that is projected at that particular energy is, she was saying to me, how is that any of your business to focus on other people's projections, other people's energies? And in the understanding of the matrix, you understand that the matrix whole purpose and whole prism of the matrix is that it is fighting to keep itself afloat, is keeping itself alive, to keep everybody bound in this continuum of nothingness, in this continuum of everybody think alike, everybody act alike, that you don't come out of the construct of individual thought. And everybody who believes in the blue pill, or who digests the blue pill, who digests the blue pill consciousness, fights anybody who is divergent from this ideology. And a lot of people who are bound by the matrix, but who are speaking in language, it's fake language. It's a projection of language. It's a projection of freedom that says, oh, you don't want to be a sheep, you want to do this. But in actuality, they want everyone to be like them. They want the continuum. And it's really, it's the power play in its source. And a lot of people are bound by that, and they're projecting. And one of the things that I have found in my particular life is people have a problem with people who decide to be free. And there's a lot of projection in that, when you want to be free. When you think about Sekhmet bringing balance and restoring the collective of ancient Egypt at the time, it was that people had gotten so far away from the ways of Ma'at. People had gotten so far away from the ways of divinity within humanity. And in all of her urging to get people to turn back, to turn toward Mother, to embrace Isis, to understand balance of Divine Mother Isis and Divine Father Ra. She wanted them to have balance, and that people didn't want to have balance. And so that's when the necessary became necessary. And she didn't ask for permission. She didn't ask for permission to transform herself into warrior. She felt like this is the extremity that had to happen. And the thing about the extremity, once the extremity gets loose, everybody wants to complain about um you know, how we need to, the ways that you need to do to create boundaries, the way that you need to do to restore balance in your life. Everybody wants to complain when you level up. Everybody wants to complain when you level up, when you come into your queen, yeah, Asante Wa energy, which is also just another derivative of Sekhmet, because you understand what is at stake. You understand your own power, and you're not asking anybody for permission to protect yourself. You're not asking for anybody's permission to govern yourself. I've shared on this channel so many times, and I think it's interesting because a lot of what I've been sharing, I've been seeing in the collective. And I already know that when stuff is happening in the collective, that the collective people who are not working from light, when for people who are like bound by shadow, living in shadow way and ego consciousness, they don't understand. They look at it and they think, because you're talking about something, that is something that you are afraid of, when you absolutely have no fear of it at all, that you're sharing with people, the journey and the experience. And even though you may experience frustrations with the journey that you're going through, like, for years I have been illegally monitored. For years, my phone has been accessed by others. Like, recently, I've learned that it's been cloned for whatever reason. And what is coming to consciousness now is that there's a possibility that, because I found some stuff on my phone, like, I have no other means of what do you call it? Social media other than this YouTube channel that I just started like a couple of months ago. So I had been off of social media, but people are out here doing the most in terms of creating identities, being false and representing, and like, they're taking their technology crimes to whole new levels in terms of the devices they're using. And especially people who are in like cybersecurity, and they're trying to get money and get grants. We already know from the history of America that people have no problem tapping into the energy of women, especially women of color like Henrietta Lacks. Tapping into their energy and using their energy for the sense of it's going to benefit us. And it happens in this country. I believe that, this whole thing started with a wealthy real estate person who probably hired somebody through somebody else, because he's that kind of person. He's the kind of person who lets other people do his dirty work, and in case there needs to be a fall guy. And then he's like 3 or 4 or 5 different people removed, and these people probably hired a particular group, and this group has like associated itself or attached itself to my energy through one particular family that kind of works out of West Michigan, who has like a nucleus of one person who is like he's probably like a cyber genius, but he uses all of his energy, or she uses all of her energy. I believe it's a guy, and he just like brings on different people to help him do the work. And then these people become possible scapegoats. But really, they have these pros of being, or the guise of being like cybersecurity, but they're really just thieves. And they probably have worked a lot with blackmailing people, with stealing people's identity. Well, I've noticed lately, like, because if somebody can clone your phone, then they can get all your accounts, they can get all your information. But I think I know that lately they've been trying to steal money. And like people have been following me like in a store, and I need to check that store to see if they have a scammer, because I've used my card in there before. And I think what people do, like people, this one time, this lady like walked right up to me and was like looking at me punch my code in, and I was like, she waited for me to get into the line. So they do this kind of, petty scamming. And on one hand, they try to present themselves as they're this organization, like a political paramilitary militia, probably with some kind of weird Christian twinge to it or whatever. But on the dark side of that, they practice dark magic. And a lot of them are probably hexed by people in the upper levels of the agency. And somebody that works with them has like, he's extremely narcissistic and just has this extreme charisma and charm and ability to talk people into their, being a part of their own demise, being a part of their own energy. And I've just watched it over the years, and it's like all of the things that they have tried to do, from the smallest to the largest things, is like, um, is just interesting in their approach to try to destroy me, to protect somebody who doesn't even care anything about them, which is none of my business, why they're doing it. I mean, it is what it is. People are going to always, probably as long as we live on the planet, people are going to take issue. And because they don't want to do the work of whoever they are and turning their lives around, they will project. And so, like, I moved into this new space, and I know why, Source put me here and put me in this energy. And the intention was for me to have a new beginning, for me to have peace and all this stuff. And so, very shortly after I began to live here, I started to notice that other stuff was happening. I was being recorded in terms of what I was saying and what I was doing. And then I noticed that my phone had an overlay on it. So like my screen was being cast, and everything that I was saying and everything that I was doing was being noted by something else. And so that became interesting. And it's something that really recently happened is, the person I rent for put a new range in here, and he kept, noting that the range was Wi-Fi controlled. So something can only be Wi-Fi controlled if you turn the Wi-Fi on. So I started to notice that the Wi-Fi range was showing up as an available device on the public domains. And so I contacted him and I was like, why is this happening? Because I didn't give permission, I didn't consent to it. And he, faked, like he had no idea why that was happening. And I also noticed that the person who lives adjacent to me, beneath me, happened to be outside when the range was delivered. And I just pay attention to all of these things, because one of the things that I've noticed about this particular group is, they work like in groups, and I believe that's kind of like so that they can pass and share, um when things all go down. They can say, well, it wasn't me, it was this person, wasn't me. And I think some of them really don't understand the law, because if somebody is committing a crime in the place that you lease, you're responsible, or the place that you own. So maybe the people who are a part of the cybersecurity team will, this is my belief system, they'll enlist people and say, oh, you know what, we're casing this person, and make it seem like they have legitimate access to this person, or legitimate cause to cause a civilian to commit, federal crimes in their home, and say, this is why we're doing this, and have all kinds of fake evidence or whatever they're doing, and have these people doing these things. And if somebody's saying they're going to pay your rent or they're going to, pay your car note or give you money, like it really doesn't take a lot for people to not have integrity, not have dignity, not especially when it's against somebody that they morally believe they are better than. And this particular group has this kind of ego consciousness that projects that they're better than somebody because maybe they're in a particular working class or economic class, or because they're a part of a certain, they will claim that they're not racist, but and some of them may not really be racist. Some of them may just have a faulty patriotic um you know ideology that something makes them better than somebody else, or that they have the right to um some of them will claim to be libertarian, and this whole ideology is, if you don't tread on me, I'm not treading on you. But it's bullshit. They will tread on whoever the fuck they want to tread on because they believe that they can. And a lot of times they project onto other people that they feel are smaller than them, that they're better than them, or they're entitled to interfere with somebody's life. And I have found that to be true in the state, in the country that I live in. Being a woman and being born in a woman, being born in a brown skinned woman, anytime that you decide that you are going to affirm who you are and live your life the way you choose to live your life, even people who consider themselves to be libertarians, if they make a decision that I don't like that you do tarot cards, or I don't like that you wear your head wrapped, or I don't like that you advocate this, or I don't like this. They decide that that means that I have the right to interfere with your life. I have the right to manipulate your life. I have the right to have access to you, even though you didn't grant the access. And this particular group, some of the people that are in, like, I don't know all, I don't have all the information because I don't really need to have all the information. I just know that some of it is perverted in the sense of having access to a person's most intimate times, when you're taking a shower, or you're in the bed, or you're in your house alone, and you have a reasonable expectation of privacy. And for anybody that's a civilian, or anybody that works in security, to believe that they have the right to, you know, access a person's phone without their consent, access a person's camera just because they can, or take advantage of people's lack of technology and things like that, and then try to make it make sense in their minds. It's like, oh, well, I'm doing this for the country, I'm doing this for the liberation of the state. And a lot of times I think this group has, lied and gotten some of these people to do things, because I've seen people from this particular type of group attack people. Like, I'll just use Kyle Rittenhouse for an example. I believe that that was a um, I don't know what the word is, but it's like when you make up a murder before you go make the murder, and then you make up every reason why it wasn't I can't think of the word, but anyway, I believe that was planned by the organization that kind of owns him, because I believe that's what they do. They get their tentacles in a lot of young people who have faulty patriotism, who have they want to be a part of the winning circle disease. They have approval whoring disease. They just want that attaboy from people who seem like they're in powerful positions, but who manipulate and use people of smaller mindsets and get them to do all kinds of atrocities. So anyway, I believe that that whole situation where he went to that protest, he crossed state lines, he had a hunting rifle that was illegal, and then he provoked an altercation with somebody, and the whole ideology that he had a right to kill somebody in self-defense and that he was a hero because the person that he allegedly killed was somebody who was a sex offender, that he had every right to do that, is vigilante 101. And it's kind of the attitude of anarchy. The attitude of anarchy is, I can cause chaos, I can cause disruption, I can do it because in my mind it's all for a greater cause. And so it's kind of some of that energy that we will find ourselves, collectively dealing with, like these gang starkers and this whole ideology of, like the law saying, well, the law is very ignorant to cybercrime. So that's why a lot of people get away with cybercrime, and a lot of people are fascinated with getting away with cybercrime. That just feeds their fuel and just projects more and more atrocities of the crime. It's why you have secret societies of the dark web where people are selling people's access to people that they consider to be vulnerable, if a woman is single or things like that. Or like, I live in a college town, so I live in a college town where these people, if they've accessed me, then I have no belief system that they haven't been accessing other people. If they've been trying to steal from me, I have no common belief system that they haven't built a network. And they kind of work together, like closely together. So like, if some say you live in an apartment, you upstairs, downstairs, or whatever, and you live downstairs and the person upstairs to you has access to you, then the person across the alley who also lives, that they work with. So it's kind of like a connection of areas where if somebody is stealing some information, like that's kind of like how a network of cyber thieves work. Like, it's kind of fast, like they steal and they get, like, just like I was saying, the lady in the supermarket, so she was texting on her phone the whole time I'm in the store and I'm putting on my thing, and she made up something about trying to pull up a coupon. I mean, it was a lie. And it also happened yesterday too. This lady, she was all the way on the other side of the store, because I like pay attention to them. Soon as I got in line, like, these people are not paying attention to the fact that, okay, I see you. If I see you, the camera's picking you up, so I'm going to be able to identify, this is probably the point where my code was stolen, or if the credit card in that particular store has a scammer on it and those people are working with the managers or whatever. Like, you never know how all this little organizations work together, because they are very good with galvanizing people under the scam. And then people are using hexes and things like that. These people don't even know that they're being controlled. To They could be told, hey, I need you to pay attention to what this person uses or what this person does, because she's a credit, they could have been projecting it onto me that I'm the, I was using credit card fraud, and they were trying to case, and they're telling him, hey, we'll give you 25, 30, $40 if you pay attention to this person and don't, what I'm saying? It's like, they're just scammers, basically. They're just scammers, but they've been doing it so long and so well, and getting away with it. And that a lot of times they go with people's ignorances, because if somebody comes at somebody and they're articulate, number one, they show a fake ass badge, or a badge that looks really good or whatever, because some of these people have been in some type of law enforcement who are in this group. So, they violate, they do a lot of foul atrocities. And the thing is, they're not expecting you to protect yourself. They're not expecting you to speak out. That's why my account has been hijacked, and viruses and all kinds of code, because the person is a very good cyber tech. I mean, whoever is running code for the person who hired them and who is running this whole little organization in the cyber tech area of it, runs some damn good codes. I mean, he's a very good criminal who's probably trying to be legit in his company on one aspect of it, and then the other aspect, because it hasn't gone legit, which, legitimacy is what it is. I mean, given the fact that we live in a capitalistic society where almost every business that makes any money does so without a conscience. I mean, it could possibly go legit, but it doesn't mean that it will maintain legitimacy. It doesn't mean that it will not be without the shadow of all of the ugly, dark atrocities that have happened along the path and all of that. So anyway, I said all that to say, because this is going to be a two-part, because I don't want it to go too far over. But I said all that to say because it's happening so much across the collective. And so I don't believe that it's the same group happening, because this is happening all across the world, all across the planet. People are being gang stalked, people are being cyber stalked, people are being sold onto the dark web, and they have no idea that their information, or that access to their phones or their cameras, or to their homes, to their to anything about them. They have no understanding that this is going on a dark web, and people are monetizing your energy harvesting off of you. You have no idea that for years somebody can log onto a dark network that's a pervert, and who maybe likes to watch people eat potato chips and is jerking off to you eating potato chips, and that person is inadvertently attaching itself to your energy without your consent. And because we are doing the work of healing, you know our guides on the other side, who know all things, who see all things, are beginning to give us revelations, and we're beginning to understand, and we're beginning to know how to be the warrior in those situations. And so that was what my whole point of this talk was, is that when you have decided that you don't want to be anyone's prey, when you have decided that you don't want anyone to steal from you anymore, when you don't want anyone, because people will project that they have a right to steal from you or to violate you, because maybe sometime in your past, some time ago, they got wind that you did those things, or that you were a bad person, or that you weren't a person who lived in integrity, and they feel it's their right to, even though you never did anything to them, it's their right to balance the scales, and what they think is your life, or what they think is your situation, balance the scale by them stealing from you. This is the insanity of their justification. And it's like, you get to decide. I had a relative not too long ago who was trying to manipulate me out of some money that he felt that he felt I wasn't entitled to, that he was entitled to. And he tried to manipulate me out of it by trying to hold me hostage in a past that I no longer even exist in. And sometime before in my life, that would have hurt me, because I care for the person, I love the person, and I understand my role in this person's life, and in their role. Like, it would have hurt me that somebody who I had given to, somebody who I had done things for, somebody who I sacrificed for in my lifetime, would project some bullshit onto me, or try to manipulate me in any kind of way, or try to play games and do things. And the person even had the nerve to curse me, as if like I was just this weak person who would lay down and just be like, oh my God, I'm so hurt, I'm so devastated that you would say that to me. I was like, oh no, wait, hold up. First of all, what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna curse my life, because it's mine, and I am the only authority in my life. So that curse that you sent here is rejected. No, sir, you will not. I'm going to send you this curse right on back to you. I'm going to multiply it. And because I love you and because I am who I am, I'm going to cleanse that thing for you, because obviously you have lost your last rabbit ass mind that you thought you could send something over here that was going to penetrate me or destroy me, because you decided you wanted to text some words to me because you feel off kilter for some bullshit that you done. Like, this person thinks I don't know how they have tried to scam me, or how they have tried to steal, have even stolen, or this person doesn't know how they have used their words in the way of an enemy. And this person doesn't even know that they probably and most likely have been hexed and sent energy from a whole nother source that didn't have anything. So they don't even know why they're even being compelled, or why they were even being compelled. But the original source of some of the energy that I've been getting is this person believes, they have antiquated dark magic ideology. This ideology that has worked for them for so many long, because they're dealing with people who don't know themselves, don't know their own minds, and because they mistook things that they were sending in my direction, they mistook that for the consequences of those things. Like, they looked at, because these people were against mixed marriage and I was in one, and they looked at, by attacking it, they were like, oh, if we attack her marriage, we then take away her stability. If we attack her marriage, then we take away anybody who is around her, and we leave her, wounded by herself. We leave her, easier prey. That was the ideology that they had, because they didn't know who the fuck I am. They didn't know who they were attacking. And that's what happens. People don't know who they're attacking. They don't know your lineage. They don't know who's protecting you. They don't know the power of your prayers. They don't know anything about you. They don't know your faith system. I mean, they could even say to you, oh, she's such a dark witch, we got to get her. We got to get her out of her. People who will say that somebody is a witch or they're practicing dark magic will use dark magic, the thing that they're allegedly against, to try to destroy that person. They don't understand that there is nothing in creation. There is nothing in creation. There is nothing in creation that's not going to bless me. I don't care if it shows up as, if a hurricane shows up in nature, the hurricane is there to bring balance. Even though it may bring destruction, it's there to ultimately restore the balance of nature and to be a blessing. The way it shows up, or the consequence of it, is something we may not like. Like, did I like having a divorce? Hell to the no, I didn't like having a divorce. But did it bless me? Hell to the motherfucker yes, it blessed me. It blessed me. It leveled me up. It helped me transcend. It gave me the energy to go through the dark night of the soul moment. It gave me everything I needed to embrace Empress energy. But I had to go through all of the queens. I had to go through the Fool. I had to go through the entire tarot to get to Empress energy. I had to embody all of that. I had to embody not just the upright energy, because before I could get to the upright energy, I had to embrace the reversed energy, or the what I like to call the distorted energy, which is shadow self. I had to embrace all of that. And then until I went through that deep hurt and that heartache, until I went to that betrayal, until I went through that rejection, until I went through that narcissist discard of somebody saying, through their actions, because they were a coward, they didn't even have the courage to say, listen, I don't want you, I don't want this marriage, or whatever. And even when they were saying, I'm going to divorce you or whatever, it was just words. I'm the one who had to go for the divorce. I'm the one who had to move out. I'm the one who had to move forward with my life. And even when I did move forward with my life, even when I untethered from everything from that person was still, trying to attach to my energy through other people and just doing dumb stuff, which made no sense whatsoever. And it's like, the thing that I learned from that thing is, It doesn't matter what other people, I don't mean, like, this is a whole bunch of people. This is up to as many people, this is up to like 32, 42, 40 something, a whole group of people that they get little people together that started off with, um, this one particular company coming into my community through other people, like other people, because they have like investors. I don't know how this little real estate company is legal. In my opinion, my personal opinion, I believe it's organized crime, and it's a crime racket, and it's money laundering, and it's just a fake front. And these people deciding that they were going to target um, this community, and they had displaced so many people in my community, and I tried to advocate not just for myself but for other people who were just devastated by the culture that this company, this corporation, was bringing into the community. And as somebody who wanted to speak out and advocate for it, they weren't having it. They were like, we need to shut her up and shut her down and get her out. But the way they wanted to do that was to destroy me. But I had decided that I didn't want to be destroyed by anyone else, and I didn't want to participate in my own demise. And I started to advocate for myself, and then in started to advocating for myself, narcissists do not like, bullies like when you're weak. Bullies like when you're afraid. Bullies like when you cower. Bullies like to keep you silent and to feel this overlord situation from you. Bullies do not like when you speak up, because then it becomes the slandering that you're abrasive, that you're the angry black woman or whatever. Whenever you say to a bully, fuck you, you're not going to do whatever it is that you think that you're going to do. And if you think you're going to do it and get away with it, and that I'm not going to fight you, you got another thing coming, because I don't give a fuck if you're Goliath. If I got a pebble and I got, that's all the fuck I need is a little pebble. So all I have is this cheap little Walmart phone, and these people have all of this technology, all of this coding, all of this, stuff that they've been trying to set me up. They've been trying to destroy me. They've been sending me hexes. They've been sending me all this little camera magic that they use, this little technology magic that they have with the mirroring and the projection and the access and the tapping into the energy and just being energy harvesters, all of that. And I'm still standing. I'm still standing, and I'm still advocating for myself, and I'm still moving forward in my life. And it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And it's like every time they come with me, all they do is invite my ancestors, my spirit guides, my adversaries on the other side. They just invite them into their lives, and they show up because the whole point is to balance out the scales. Like, how long do you think you're going to harass somebody, you know, covertly? How long do you think that you're just going to tap into people's phones? How long do you think you're going to just be stealing from people? How long do you think people are just going to let you devise plot and plan after plot and plan to destroy their lives? How long do you think that's going to happen, especially in this country? It's like, when do you think? Because the scales are balancing. That's why you're so scared. That's why you're afraid. You're afraid of anybody speaking up against themselves, advocating for themselves, organizing. You're afraid of people being well, being healthy, being self-sufficient, standing on their own, not needing you, not begging you, not being afraid of you. You're afraid of people not being afraid of you. Not me. I don't need anybody to be afraid of me. I don't want you to be afraid of me. I want you to be free and to be healed. Period. I don't even have the sense of revenge, because revenge doesn't belong to me, because the same source that created you created me. So I don't need to have revenge, because everything you do to me, you do to yourself. Period. It just is like it. Whether you believe in a faith system or not, that is just natural law. Whatever you put out is going to come back to you, and it's going to come back quicker, and it's going to come back and more intense, because people are not naive to what's coming at them anymore. We don't live in this antiquated ideology matrix. Everybody is not caught up into the matrix, and even those who are still in the matrix, who are understanding and awakening, still you don't have any power over them, because they wake up and they say, oh, okay, I need to refocus, I need to reprogram, I need to re-understand something, I need to cleanse program, I need to detox from this, I need to unplug from the motherfucking matrix, because I don't want to be controlled by any other source other than myself, because this life is mine. It's my life. It's my life. I have the authority of it. Just like your life is yours. If you want to spend your life doing all of this bullshit that you're doing, that's your business. It doesn't have anything to do with me, because I don't choose this. I don't consent to it. In fact, what I do consent to is my spirit guides and my ancestors who love me being the source of balancing the scales. So there you go. I consent to Sekhmet balancing the scales. And I'm fully trusting that it is done. It is done. The scales are balanced.